Hi Gemini, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot. Welcome to your cards for August. I'm sincerely sorry that it took this long to get this out. I had a situation a little while ago that kind of caused a little bit of psychic intrusion, and I needed to take a break and allow myself to reset. And I think that's a lot of what the universe is doing in August. It's sort of testing us, testing our strength, testing our commitments, testing the things that we've learned so far on the journey of 2020. So if that is any sort of a clue as to what you're going through in August as well, there seems to be a clear path, and yet there's this really emotional place we're in which we kind of have to swim our way through before we get to the other side. So let's get into these cards. First card out is the Four of Wands. This is a card of celebration, often representing a union or a marriage. It's definitely a level of support. It could also represent things going on within your home, your security, your stability in your relationships, and in your home life. Four of Wands is always a symbol of stability. And underneath that Four of Wands is a new moon in Leo. Confidence is your key to success. Now, oddly enough, in a few days, we will be experiencing this new moon in Leo. And I do pick this up, yes, as an energy, but also as a timing card. So to me, it looks like the pressure is on. And let me explain why. Next to that Four of Wands is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles to me always represents commitment. You know, the King of Pentacles is never afraid of commitment. Now, that can come in many forms. And remember, we're talking about a form of stability in your life. So yes, it could represent a relationship that you're in, romantic, even friendship. It could represent the stability of your home. It could mean the ability to just pay the bills and stay afloat during a somewhat traumatic, unstable time for some people. Either way, I think that your money and your security is a focus this month. I'm also picking up a feeling that you are experiencing a level of, it's like you've reached a lot of goals that you had set for yourself. You've reached a level of success in your own eyes. I'm picking that up with the Leo card. Maybe just the feeling like you have overcome a lot of battles in the past several months. A lot of challenges, maybe even outside people, or a lot of inner conflict that you had to work your way through in the past several months in order to reach this place of stability in yourself, in your relationships. Underneath that King of Pentacles is the Mouse Spirit card. Card number 40, tend to the small things. So first of all, we have a Four of Wands, we have the Moon card coming out, which I'll show you in a minute. And we have two cards of 40. That's a lot of fours. And looking at your fourth house, by the end of August, you will have Mercury and the Sun moving into your fourth house, which is your home, your emotional stability. It's a very karmic house because it's where we carry energies in from the past life. It's where we work through ancestral trauma, ancestral karma. You know, it's the innermost part of your chart, the most private place. It is your subconscious and it is your roots. So I'm picking up a lot of fourth house energy coming through as we move through August and probably well into mid-September. I have another timing card. The end is the new moon in Virgo. So this is quite literally talking about the next month and a couple days. I'm seeing a specific time for this specific reading. Mouse spirit, number 40, also coming out under the 40 card. Co-create. Further pointing to a partnership, relationship. It could be a job or a financial opportunity with the Pentacles. Mouse spirit tells me there could be a little bit of Virgo energy. Now you have Virgo in the fourth house. The sun will be moving into Virgo. This is probably a place in your life where you're very critical. You're very critical of your roots. It could be very critical of your family. There may be resentments or areas that you have to work through, kind of accepting who you are, what you come from. These could be elements that are at play right now. Mouse spirit could also represent where we're thinking small. And this is a little bit of that Gemini energy coming through. But it's more of a Virgo energy, to be honest. It's Mercury, so it's in the mind. But it's Virgo. So there's this feeling of anticipatory anxiety. One of my very favorite astrologers, Anne Ortley, she did a reading for me. My chart is so loaded with Virgo, and the first thing she said, and she says it on some of her podcasts as well, that Virgo energy is the anticipatory anxiety, and it creeps in even when things are going really well. Even if life seems to be exactly on the path we hoped it would be. We're experiencing some real highs here, reasons to celebrate. We have all the reasons to feel secure, and yet Mouse Spirit says maybe things are too good. It's only a matter of time before something bad happens. And so you go into that smaller mind and you try to micromanage, you try to prepare for worst case scenarios, which is wonderful. And we all love and appreciate that Virgo energy in our lives, because when the shit hits the fan, Virgo is prepared. We are prepared. The problem is when we're in the mindset of something is about to go wrong, or there are things that could take a turn suddenly. You know, remember as well, you have Uranus stationing retrograde this weekend in your 12th house, which could be very jarring subconsciously because you are seeking freedom from the most karmic parts of yourself. There's a revelation going on with Geminis, and it's the releasing of all of this tension because it blocks from being able to co-create with others. You know, you may be really independent, Gemini, independent in your thoughts, independent in your plans. And there's a need to protect yourself. Now we have Mars in your 11th house squaring all of the planets in your 8th house, saying that now is a time If you want to move forward, you have to open up and trust. There's a transformation process whenever your 8th house is getting hit. You're involved in a transformation of some sort, and as it makes a square to Mars in your 11th house is not just simply a house of friends, acquaintances, groups. It could be, but oftentimes I find that it is a symbol of our deepest dreams and hopes. And because it's so close to the 12th house and it's so karmic, it is the role that other people play when they come into your life as a gift, as a reward, as wishes coming true. '11th house can represent luck. And when we talk about luck in terms of manifestation, now is a really crucial time for you to get right in the thought process. And that doesn't necessarily mean there's anything for you to do. I think the universe is taking you for a little bit of a journey in the next 4 weeks so that you could get into deeper touch with yourself, Gemini. The outside world seems to be working with you. Luck is on your side. And yet the universe senses that you're still holding back. You're still nervous. You're afraid to make that deep dive into something that you know has been brought to you by the divine timing of the universe. Now, the center of the reading, your overall energy, 5 of Cups, and I love the way this message comes through because she comes out directly above your center card, which is that of the Moon. I don't know if you guys can see this clearly. I'm going to try. But if you look, there's this woman sitting here. It feels like dusk, evening, the quiet part of our lives, the quiet part of ourselves, who we are and the thoughts that we have when we're alone. The contemplation, and you see she's looking at this small opening, this pathway, this doorway almost. It's looking at your past and dealing with the past, but she comes out. You see, I picture it as though she took the opportunity to fall down that hole, to take that dive, and to submerge herself or himself, to submerge yourself into that emotional side, where you can access your intuition, where you can understand these emotions and these fears from a safe place. Yes, the water, the Moon card, it is a place of the unknown, the unknowing. It could simply represent that you don't really know or understand what you want yet, how you want to proceed. Because as good as things are, you know that they still have to change. And it is up to you of where you want this to go. How deep are you willing to get, Gemini? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to get in the deep, in the thick of things, where it may not be easy, where you may have to feel your way emotionally through some stuff? And that's not easy for Gemini. It's not easy because, Gemini, you have Capricorn in your 8th house with major transits, saying that this is a part of your life where you are willing to emotionally open and become intimate with other people, to be yourself and to give and to allow love, a deeper love. You know, 7th house is that house of commitment. Your South Node is there. It's a house of what it's commitments made on paper. It's a logical side of commitments. It is the promises and, the good stuff, but it's very above board. And sometimes it can be a little superficial. And when we dive into the 8th house, this is when you give yourself. This is when you allow trust in the universe, trust in a partner, real intimacy, the ability to talk and share your real truths, your hurts, your pain, and your fears with others. So there's a challenge that the universe is giving you, Gemini, to take a deep dive into something, to make something deeper and more meaningful than it already is. And in order to do that, you have to face some fears within yourself. Underneath the Moon card is card number 19. It's breaking down to a 1, dog spirit. Be loyal to what you love. And I think that is the advice as you're going through this. There could be that sense of, I want to stay above board. I want to stay where I know I can breathe, where I have the things that I need. I'm afraid of going deep down. And yet that dog spirit, loyal to what you love. If you follow your heart, you will simply have no choice. You will simply have no choice because what is being offered at this time is going to call to you at such a deep level. There really truly is no other option unless you are disloyal to yourself, disloyal to what your heart truly wants. If you are in a relationship and you are afraid of taking it to the next level, that Moon card could really take hold of you at a primal level, right? It could talk you into doing things that maybe you may regret. 5 of Cups. There might be a tug to walk away from this. And the universe might even put things in your path to make you second guess this journey. And they're testing you to see your commitment and your loyalty to whatever this is. If this is a relationship that you feel it's time to either move to the next level or to simply step away, there might be even temptations that come your way. And it will be up to you. Remember, there's always free will at play. But I think that you realize when these things come in your way, in your path, offers, temptations of some sort, that if you focus on what you truly want, if you focus on what your heart really, truly wants for your life, then the temptations will fall away and you yourself will strengthen. Underneath that dog spirit, card number 28, building blocks. Capricorn in your 8th house means that there is always steady progress up the mountain of intimacy and trust. This is your life's work. This is your upward progress. This is how you excel at everything, by excelling in 8th house matters. The willingness to share and to be intimate with others, because Gemini's passion, their journey on earth, is to take that deep dive. They're always searching for that real deep soulmate, soul connection, karmic relationship, and yet they always get this reputation for quickly moving on to the next thing and getting bored. Well, there's accountability on both sides for that, Gemini. You may get bored because you may have blocks up that force you to move away when things get intimate, when things get deep. There's a need to escape from it and protect your freedom. 7th house, Sagittarius. There is a panic mode when things start to get real and you feel like there is an attack on your freedom. And those are the issues you're working through. And I think the universe has handed you the person or the situation in which you start to overcome these fears. You start to make different choices this time. You start to allow yourself to go deep. Building blocks, this is where progress is made. When you no longer pay attention to those temptations and you're willing to get really deep and submerge yourself into this healing process. Now is a really great time if you've gone through a lot of immense struggle and if you're dealing with trauma, even if old childhood traumas have recently come to the surface. Now is a fantastic time to seek that kind of therapy. I think that the universe will connect you with the right people, right? The right counselors, the right kind of guidance, even if it's religious or, even a spiritual teacher that can come in and offer you this kind of healing at this time. Now is a really lucky time for those people to come into your life and offer you the kind of help. Now, as well, it could be a relationship that is in your life so that you can take this journey. Your challenge card, as I have already indicated and talked about, you have the Justice card in reverse. 4th house, 8th house, 12th house transits, you are in the thick of it. And by being in these situations, even if it is just therapy, reaching new levels in your therapy and working with others, or if it is within this relationship, there comes a point where you have to reckon with your past. There are things that happen to us throughout our life. There are situations we're in and we know we don't ever want to be in those situations again. And so the next thing comes, that next relationship, that next person. And you may be called to make those same commitments, those same promises. And this is where the fear creeps up. But what if it turns out to be another situation just like the last? What if this is another cycle in which I will have to deal with pain and regret? And this is your ego saying, do you really want to go down this road again? Do you really think that it's going to be different this time? 11th house, Gemini, it's about what you believe in. What is your soul being called to do? And that can't come from a logical place. In order to get the answers you seek, you have to allow yourself to get deep within yourself. Because the challenge is you have to do the dirty work. You have to get deep in. You have to do the forgiveness thing. Forgiving yourself for past mistakes. Forgiving yourself for missed opportunities. Forgiving yourself for allowing those fears to creep up, those temptations to creep in. I don't know why, but I'm getting called with this Justice card in reverse to remind you that it is okay to be human. It is okay to feel those things, that you don't have to be the rock all the time. The Justice card in reverse comes out on top of the Horse Spirit card. Freedom is yours. Card number 33. This is a very specific message. May not resonate with all of you. These are general readings. However, if there is a situation in which you entered into a commitment of some sort, a job, a marriage, a relationship, moving in together, remember we're talking about co-creating here. That freedom was a challenge for you. You may have felt stuck, stagnant, unable to be yourself. Your soul felt confined in some way. And these are your fears. Your fears that if you're willing to allow yourself to love, to deepen a relationship, to enter a new phase of commitment, to take that, maybe it's a promotion and there's fears because there's a lot of pressure and a lot of work. And you could definitely stay in a situation where you're not challenged. But that's ultimately not going to feed your soul. What you want is progress. Mars is way too strong in your 11th house. It's like you can almost taste that dream come true. And yet there is an ocean you have to swim through to get to that other side. And that other side is freedom. The other side of that ocean is true freedom. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean moving away from a relationship. What I'm getting, because the Horse Spirit card comes right on top of this 39, this new life, is almost a sudden realization that you can have both, Gemini. You, with the right people, at the right time, the universe is allowing you to understand that there are circumstances in which you can have both. The Justice card is where you have to realize it is possible to be in a relationship, to have a commitment in your life with somebody, to enjoy that side of your life, and yet still feel free. That this person will not bury you with burdens. The right person will free your soul. They will appreciate the authentic you. You will be able to be yourself and yet have this beautiful connection. Now, if you're in a situation where that is not possible, if you decide to be with this certain person, if you decide to make this commitment, you have to be loyal to yourself. If this person puts demands on you, if they insist that you have to change and be this certain way, well, then that is not the relationship for you, because you are looking towards this new life, this new experience. And I think by the emotional journey that you're being put on, Queen of Swords, you will know the difference. Intuitively, you will know what path to choose. If you allow yourself to go down this deep tunnel of healing, then you will begin to see what relationships feed your freedom. They make your soul feel free and yet safe and comforted with others. Queen of Swords comes out above the new moon in Virgo, which comes at the end of September. I think, again, this is that timing card of all of this happening within the span of 1 month. Now that Uranus stationing retrograde in your 12th house, middle of August can really catapult you into a new phase in your life. And it's going to be a little bit of a ride for a month. It's going to be a little bit of a journey in which you have to surrender. And honestly, the less anxious you feel and the more you will just allow the universe to take you to where you're about to go. The more you follow and trust your intuition, the easier this journey will be. And I think by the end of September, you're going to have the clarity. You're going to know the answers. You're going to know exactly where you want to go. And that right now, it's okay to not know. It's okay, because the unknowing and the following your heart is going to take you to exactly where you need to be, because you're building the blocks towards this whole new life. This is a really beautiful reading, Gemini. Allow yourself to be human this month. Allow yourself to have the needs, to have the conversations with others, to share yourself, to open up. Your heart and your intuition is opening right now. And it's really beautiful. It leads to tremendous growth. It leads to the plan, the pathway, the clarity, and the discernment. You know, new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. This is a time to take action, and it's coming. I think it's closer. It's closer than you think. Like I said, this woman seems to be staring out over an ocean, and this is the ocean that you have to swim through. You know, you have to dive into what might feel a little bit scary, you know, the deep dive into those emotions, into that intimacy that I'm talking about, into the opening. It's an opening from the universe. It's an opportunity, 11th house. This is a benefit. This is nothing to be afraid of. So you could leave that anxiety behind, that need to plan and prepare for worst case scenarios, and just let yourself be free so that you can see the clarity. It's a time of healing because you're seeing that new path. And I don't know, I just see you in the next month on the other side. You've arrived at where you want to be. You've chosen, you know, Virgo is that energy of sifting through the wheat, picking the good from the bad. What goes with you on your next path, and what are you leaving behind? Wow. It's awesome, Gemini. Okay. If you're still with me, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share the videos. Let the readings get out, the messages to more people. It helps the channel. I do hope that you have a wonderful end of August and early September, and I will see you soon, Gemini. Bye.